My name is Sonya J. Bowser. I'm from Austin, Texas and Little Rock, Arkansas. I currently work in accounts payable and just, working, doing that, enjoying what I do with that, and also for the Zolie Zi Empire. And I just love what I do. The Zolie Zi Empire is an empire based around a little girl, a 7-year-old girl named Zoli Zi. And basically what it is just taking children through her mini-series books on the adventures of what she's experienced in the day-to-day life of a little girl that's a normal girl like all the other girls. But her story is to empower and encourage girls who may be facing similar situations to use their voices to change their life and hopefully change other people's life as well. What inspired me was I was working and I was bullied by 2 young ladies on my job, and I felt powerless. I felt like I didn't have a voice, and I didn't like how that made me feel. And being an adult, I was like, well, I can't just write a book and put my face on it and expect people to buy it. So I have a niece who she has a lisp, a speech impediment, and I was like, wow, they're gonna really get her really good. And I went to visit them after I lost my job to bullying, and she inspired me so much so that I wanted to create a character to help see if she would be the first kid that can actually be inspired by this Zolie Zi character that I was going to create. And it turns out that she was. And she became a voice. She became an advocate against bullying. So that's how I began. Well, bullying on the job, I was bullied as a child as well about my lips. And they used to say things like I can flip my lips inside out and float, and my lips are so big I can make a skull cap. And so I was emotionally bullied as a child. And then as an adult, it became more of a nonverbal type of bullying, where because I was really reserved and I really didn't, I wasn't into the in crowd like everyone else gossiping about other people, because I knew how that felt. So mine became more nonverbal, to where they could say things or look at you a certain way and you know what it means, because I've experienced bullying, so I know exactly what's going on. The little giggles and the looking at you crazy and who she thinks she is, that's very hurtful and painful to deal with. So for me, it made me more introverted, even more introverted than I already was. And it also makes you aggressive. So I found that I didn't like how that made me feel. I needed to change that. I grew up in between 2 homes. So my father and my mother raised me. When I was a baby, my dad took me from my mother to raise me. She had 2 of the other children and he wanted me. He was like, that's mine, I'm taking it. So when they separated, it was agreed she can go ahead, he can take me and she keep my brother and sister. So I would go see my mother in the summer times or in the school, during the school year, and it just kind of varied on whatever they agreed on. So I grew up in between 2 different places, Little Rock, Arkansas, and Austin, Texas. So as a kid, with my mother, I was very free. I was able to do what I wanted to do, and kind of just, I used to stay out all night, and just chill, but I was still a straight A student. But my mother was on drugs, so she wasn't very active, but she was very present. And we had a very immaculate house, so you would never know that, we had issues like that in our life, because we had meals. She worked 2 jobs, but she was addicted to drugs. And so I noticed as I got older, things would come up missing, like rings and stuff. She was like, I pawned it, so she would let me know stuff that she was doing. So it was kind of difficult, and I didn't understand what was going on with her with the drugs. I didn't even know what that really was. So when I be with my dad was more structured. You had a certain way you had to live. Like I couldn't wear certain things, and so I had a different type of lifestyle with him. So it was just like, with him, I'm the angel. My mom is like, I'm finna go out here and party. It was on. So it was just a little, I was teeter-tottering a lot, but I really enjoyed my childhood. I made awesome friends. I'm a comedian. I love to laugh and joke. So it's like a lot of my friends were the same, and we were like geniuses. And so even with my dad, I had some really cool friends. So I was really blessed with a child. It was happy overall. I had a lot of love. I had a lot of lessons. I had a lot of mothers, and people always fought over me. Growing up, I would say my mother inspired me because when I found out she was on drugs, she still worked 2 jobs. She still had straight pearly white teeth. She still, she was ironed up. She looked good every day. So she was a functioning drug addict, I later understood. But she never allowed that to come between her children. Like she never, we even though she wasn't there, she always made sure we had, so she didn't make an excuse for not to take care of us. She still was there, but not there. And when she decided to get off drugs when I was in my 20s, she just said, I don't want to do this no more. So it was like her mind, she made up in her mind, I don't want to do this. She didn't go to rehab. She didn't go through no type of therapy. She just made up her mind. And that to me is powerful. To just, that shows me the power of my mind. So I said, if she could do it, I know I could do anything. She got off drugs. I mean, just that simple. Well, what happened at work with the two girls who were bullying me was the girl and I were friends initially. And somehow she got upset with me. I didn't know exactly what she was upset with. So if you don't communicate to me what's going on, then I can't address the issue. So she stopped talking to me. So when this happened, she would just look at me and wouldn't say anything. And so I was like, what's your malfunction? What's going on? And so she noticed I would just start talking to this other young lady that I was like, okay, well, I don't have to deal with that. I already asked. So she got mad at that. And so she went and befriended the other girl. Like this was like all of a sudden becoming high school, kindergarten type situation. So I was like, wow. So the other girls started being crazy towards me. And so they kind of just started ganging up on me, walking by, giggling at my, like, walking by and giggling. Girl, for real, that ain't even funny, and just, it just started being real silly. And I got tired of it. I was like, this is every day you're walking past my desk. Now you sit all the way on the other side, like it was a wall dividing us. And she would come all the way around the wall, her and this girl, and they sat on the same other side of the wall. And they would come around the wall, walk past my desk, giggling and laughing. And girl, yeah, just to try to make me upset. She wanted me to get jealous over their friendship. And I was like, I'm not jealous like that. I could care less. And I just was like, it's getting ridiculous. And it was getting to the point to where I was like, look, y'all gonna stop. It was just other stuff too, but I don't want to just put them out there like that. So, but the main thing was just the nonverbal, constant in your face every day. And their little remarks and stuff like this. And so I was like, wow, your friends, it's the people that you thought you could be cool with would actually turn against you for no reason. I don't know what's going on. So then I also experienced bullying, just from people knowing I'm an entrepreneur and that I like to write, that I, not just Zoli's books, but I had another book. And so people bullied me because of that. They didn't like me. They were like, you think you're better than everybody else? I'm like, I've never said that. And you guys know I don't even carry that type of demeanor. So that's very nasty. And I ignored it. So of course that made them even more upset. And they became more aggressive. When you ignore it, they become more aggressive because they want to get the reaction from you. And when you're not giving them a reaction, then it's on. With Zolie Zi, what I'm doing with her is her first book, which was the reason, that ended up becoming a story based on my own story of being bullied. She is creating an incredible wave, this little voice. And it's just her story of how the nonverbal bullying and the verbal bullying got her so stressed out to the point that she didn't want to go to school no more. She didn't want to live no more. She was just tired of it. And her inner courage, her inner strength has encouraged so many children to see her say, you know what, I don't have to take this no more, and I'm going to tell someone, I'm going to talk to my mom. And her mom being the reason why she didn't want to tell. Parents are able to see how they impact their children with their words. A lot of times, I don't think, with Zolie's books, parents get to see how a child actually feels based on what a parent has instilled in them. And so children are able to get the parent side, the teacher side, the child side, and they're able to marry all of those and just really get a great story. And that story is touching millions of lives, and children are being impacted by it all over. So her story is just incredible. I would tell a parent in regards to your child, be careful of the words you speak over your child. If you tell them they tell too much, or they, or everything you say is dumb, you are setting up a system in that child that at the right time or the wrong time is going to kick in, and you're going to get the response that you don't want to get because you programmed it. Your child is a computer, so everything you put into them, just be careful of what you're putting into that child, and be careful of what you're making them privy to. Like if you're teaching them that they're better than other people, just be careful of what you put into your child. My second thing would be listen to your child. Listen. If they're telling you something, you should know your child. Pay attention to their behaviors. You should know your child. Know your child. Listen to their voice and be careful of what you instill into them, based on how you see them or you're upset. be careful of that. What's next for me is I love to do so many things. I love to cook, and I want to be a scientist. I love space science, and I want to be a pastry chef. So there's two things. I want to be a pastry chef and a scientist. I know that's horrible, but I do. I have to do it. So those are the two things, not just one, but two things that I would like to do. I want to be a pastry chef because in a chef period, because I like to eat, and I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian now for 17 years. So I want to create dishes that I can enjoy and that I know will prepare with love. And space science and just science period is just so fascinating. There's so much out there that we as human beings have yet to explore. We just think we're all that's here, but there's so many other exciting galaxies, dimensions. It's just like, oh my God, there's so much out there. So I'm just interested in just peeping my eye in a telescope and coming across, shoot star, it doesn't matter. I just want to be involved in something that's just not in terra earth, but in the outer earth. I just want to know how far can we stretch. I would say relax. Just something that was told to me by my baba. He said, just take it easy. Life isn't so hard. It really isn't. Life is really what we make it. Everything doesn't have to be so intense all the time. Everything is really not personal. It's experience. It is choice. And I would tell myself, just learn to let it roll off your back. And so that's something I would say. The power of women is like the power of the sun. We have so much light within us and so much to give. We give life like the sun. So when I think of power of a woman, that is it. That's a sun. Everyone has to live and get nutrients and take in, and she's giving out so much, and everyone needs her. So it's like a woman has to stay in balance in order to stay powerful. So to me, that's power. I want to encourage young girls, women, infants, because everyone learns. I would just want to encourage everyone to take a chance on yourself. A lot of people don't want to take a chance on themselves because of what people have said to them that they can't do. People told me that, had a lady tell me, you're old, you're getting too old, ain't nobody going to be interested in your story. I was like, that's your story they're not going to be interested in because you don't want to tell it. I'm going to tell mine. Someone will listen and someone will be inspired. So I would just want to encourage young girls, women, children, believe in yourself. Take a chance on you. You're worth it.